Hey everybody, Michael Fisk. Today is Friday, September 24th. Welcome to Tri-State Live on Facebook. We'll give just a couple of seconds, people get logged on. Melissa, hi. Melissa Haha. I don't know who Melissa Haha is, but I assume that's not your actual last name, but hi Melissa. Amanda Young, hi. While we're getting ready for people to get logged in, again, just a safety message. If you're driving, please don't watch this and engage this while you're driving. I didn't mean to say please don't drive. We appreciate you driving, need you to drive, but just don't watch the video while you're doing so. This will, as always, be recorded and put on our Facebook as well as our YouTube channel there. But as people are getting in. Jack McFadden, hi from Alabama. Tammy Hart, hi everybody. Daniel Ginger Norred, hi. Joy, hi. And then I think that's Riley. That's on with us as well. Hi Riley. So appreciate everybody getting logged in. The 2 weeks ago we had Andy Bradford, who most of you know him from orientation. But you're going to see him more and more as he starts working in safety with Donnie Lester. Donnie has been with us for a long time, and it's going to be with us for several years, years more. But as our safety department grows and the needs of the company change and everything, Andy's going to be pulling out of orientation a bit and leaving that in the great hands with Jake Dooling and working more and more with Donnie to free up Donnie, for opportunities or special projects and that kind of stuff. So you'll be seeing more of Andy the coming times, representing safety there. So Michaeline Actor and Janine Hunter, hi. Okay, we'll get in, get started on things. Last week was Driver Appreciation Week. It's the week that the industry has designated to just express gratitude, to drivers in general. So Riley had a lot of cool, drawings and giveaways, last week. It's always hard to know how to best do Driver Appreciation Week. I mean, first of all, I hope that you feel valued and appreciated more than just 1 week, of the year. Sort of like Christmas, it's appropriate to have a special day, but at the same time, we should be, thinking of those virtues of, Christmas holiday year round, right? Same as drivers. I mean, hopefully we're recognizing you guys and showing gratitude year round. But it is a good week, an opportunity to have special acknowledgement to each of you. Riley is still, so we had individual giveaways, so forth, but we also have little gift packets that's going to be, sent to you very soon. Maybe Riley, well, she's sharing it now. Shirts are being packed and mailed out. So anyway, yes, those are still coming where we've got, individual, packets for each of our drivers, as well. So, again, thank you. And we appreciate the work that you do. More than ever, the environment that we're in and the world that we're in, needs drivers more and more. So, when we talk about, what's going out in the world today, inflation, goods and services, shortages, that kind of stuff, it really highlights you. There's a couple of things I do want to talk about while I am, going on this. If you would just send in your comments of how long you've been with us as a company, and then how long you've been driving total. Okay, I just kind of want to talk about that a little bit here. Joy, hi. You said solo drivers getting a raise. You said we're working on that. I'm addressing that here in a second. That's kind of why I want to understand, from each of you how long you guys have again been drivers for Tri-State and then just driven in the industry in general. Josh Yates, hi, greetings from vacation. Well, thanks for joining us. And then Gene Bilton, hi from Shreveport. Gene, I know there's some health challenges, that your family's, working, through. And so, thoughts, go out to you. And there's other drivers that I don't want to necessarily mention, what they're going through, but, we are, aware and sympathetic to many health concerns and challenges out there. Hi, Janet Duncan. So if you would just comment again how long you've been drivers with Tri-State, and then how long you've been driving in general. Okay, and it's and I just kind of want to talk about that here in a real quick second. If you're following the news out there, and economic, standards, inflation's already with us. I mean, we've seen, gas going up, housing, has gone up. It's ports are backed up in record amounts. I mean, I think, it's something like 93 days average backup, on ports, type of thing. Everything is just more and more expensive. It's difficult, to get new vehicles if you can find one. They're certainly more expensive than they used to be. Our truck vendors are expressing concerns to us again about the trucks that we've already ordered and anticipate ordering. Various challenges, microchips, and the price of steel, and all that kind of stuff. Just be aware of those kind of things. Someone made a joke that we need to get our Christmas shopping done in October, and you might want to think about that. It's if you're a Christmas procrastinator like I am and don't shop, until the couple of days before, you may have a difficult time, finding what you're looking for. So just be aware, of those kind of things. There's opportunities, now that haven't been there. I mean, owner operators, our company drivers, are making more money than they ever have been. I mean, it's, think about what you can save. Think about, what, as we understand, trucking is always cyclical, right? I mean, it's, and many of you have gone through those cycles, of trucking. Bank money while we can, and then it's the leaner times are healthier. We're fortunate that we're still going very strong. I mean, it's it's there are signs of economic concerns, but our day to day has been strong. And so we'll just continue to make hay while we can, and then plan for the future. Okay, so Gene, yeah, it's good to hear. I didn't want to get into too much details, but it's good to hear that he's doing better. So Jack McFadden, 2 years with us, driving since '96. Joy, December, 2 years with us, but you've been driving for 20 years. Michaeline, you and Gary, 3 years. Then retired for 4 months. Yep, came back in July. Sherry with us for 4 years, driving for 4 years. Tammy, 2 months. Hi, Tammy, welcome. Driving for 3 years, total. Gene, you and been 3 years, and then 8 years, and Ken for 5 years. Okay, so the point is, here's that, those of you who've had many years with us, 2, 3, 2 months, type of thing. Most of you, all of you, have significant experience, beyond that, As we create these pay plans, and we're looking at various options, now, and I just share this with you, because, it's again, in the spirit of transparency, and just letting you know, what's going on internally, as we adapt and work in the external, factors, out there. One of the struggles that we have is, and I think one of the challenges of the industry is, so many companies, they treat a 20-year veteran driver, whenever they start a new company, like they're brand new. And they start at the bottom, of the pay plan, type of thing. No matter how much experience they have, they, often start, at the bottom, of the pool. And that's an interesting thing. If you think about it, I mean, it's if a driver manager, if we hire a driver manager that's got 10 years of experience somewhere else, typically they're going to start out making more money, than a driver manager that's got 2 years of experience, right? I mean, it's trucking, as views the world differently, So if a driver's got 20 years experience, but they start a new job, typically they're going to start at the bottom of the pay plan, and a driver that's got 3 years of experience, is going to start similar, type of thing, and if they've got, that experience with the same company, they'll probably be ahead, of that driver. At the same time, the flip side of that is, we've got drivers that's been with us for 20 years. How do we reward, incentivize loyalty? I mean, it's, how do we, incentivize and recognize, the drivers that have stuck with us through thick and thin, type of thing. I mean, on an average basis, the company makes the same amount of revenue, on each truck. Is a driver that's been with us 5 years more valuable than a driver that's been with us for 1 month? Sure. I mean, that experience with our hazmat and everything in particular, and DOD facilities, is of value. But, let's be honest, and once a driver's been with us a year, they probably have pretty similar, experiences and qualifications and capabilities, as a driver that's been with us, 5-6 years, right? So as we create these various pay plans and look at, these things, that's the challenge is how do we recognize and reward those that have been with us many years, versus those that are brand new to us but have decades trucking, and so if you guys have suggestions and ideas, for that, please let me know. I mean, it's, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your ideas. It's, at the end of the day, most of us, we're that are driving, we're doing the same work, hauling the same freight. And, and what we're trying to understand is, does it make sense, that, truck A, that's been with us 3 months, should make, less money than, the truck that's been with us for 3 years, type of thing. So, the solos, there, it's, we're, looking at our solo, opportunities on our freight, Joy, we've put in some incremental, changes, to the solo pay plan. It hasn't impacted, all drivers, equally. We're still working on that, but, we're also, we just did a team driver, increase in July. We're looking at it again. We may make more adjustments, to that, to be, fair to each of you individually as well as the group, and then, B, to make sure that, we remain the elite, paying fleet, in the industry, so. So yeah, again, Joy, yeah, we did give it, team drivers, an increase. The solo over the road fleet got an increase as well. The regional fleets, which is a newer fleet for us, got a couple of accessorial, additions to it, type of thing. But the regional fleets, didn't necessarily see the same impact, as the teams and the over the road mileage, solos, just simply because that pay plan is a pretty new pay plan, as it is. We're evaluating, again, how to balance the revenue, with driver payroll. There's companies out there that are, offering percentage pay, to their company drivers, similar to owner operators. The ones I've seen are 24 to 27%, of truck revenue, percentage pay. And while that sounds great, I would tell you that fleet-wide for our company drivers, we're about 32%, of our, truck revenues, goes to driver pay, and so it's, so we're always looking at different metrics, different analytics, and certainly open to, ideas and suggestions. Our team drivers, there's more required of them and asked of them, and those trucks provide a, higher truck revenue, right? Our solo drivers do great work, and in many ways they're, been tasked more and more, with helping, create efficiencies, for the team, trucks, and so forth. And so, so I understand that, it's not fair to just always judge, a solo truck by, the specific revenue that's put onto that solo truck, because they help create revenue, for the owner operators and, the team trucks as well, so those are all things that we look at and are aware of. And again, even though we just made some adjustments in July, we're constantly looking at it, potentially for more. So, the annual, bonuses has been, I think, a pretty cool thing. Now we get some drivers that are frustrated, say, hey, it's, I'd like to have that money, paid out quicker, type of thing. Well, it's, there's reasons why we have it, set up the way we do, but I get the same, comments and frustrations from, office personnel that, get a bonus and say, hey, I'd like it, that bonus paid out quicker as well. There's multiple, benefits and uses, to, the way we pay, type of thing. And some of it is a retention, strategy, type of thing. Some of it is, as an administrative, we can't just process all these different bonuses, every week, type of thing. It's these, Jeanette and driver payroll, Carrie Wakefield and her team, they do a lot of work, in order to process the mileage, for the annual bonuses, and so forth. For those of you that are using RMG Connect, you're going to start seeing, more and more of your payroll information. You can already get your payroll history on there, but we're going to start showing you, your accrued miles, towards bonuses, that kind of stuff. So you can kind of see that, but it's, we have great longevity. I think our, once the driver's hired fleet-wide, I think our average is pushing 4 years, average tenure. I'm sorry, it's more than that. It's pushing about 6 years, of average tenure, which is, and that number just keeps growing. So, we feel that we're doing things the right way, but there's still improvements and tweaks that we want to do. So, anyway, Jack had a company that paid X hourly for the hours left on our 14 that weren't used driving. That'd be great for solos. That's an interesting idea. I've never heard of that idea actually. Let me look at that now. I would tell you off the top of my head, when we started, and that, I don't know how many of you guys have listened to the podcast that we have out there. If you're aware of the podcast that we've started, please let us know. Riley, if you're on, maybe you can share the link to get that podcast. But John Wilbur shared in the podcast that he participated in with Riley, called Wheel Talk. I think that's a great name, Wheel Talk with Riley, Porter. He talked about some of the concerns and challenges, that we had with the with the guarantee pay, and where the concern was where drivers would just take advantage of it and not work, and just take the day pay. Well, listen, I mean, it's that is a valid challenge. We do have a percentage of drivers that we have to manage, through that, or frankly manage out when we know that they're just taking advantage of our guaranteed day pay. But here's the reality. I mean, the vast majority of you have too much pride, too much dignity. I mean, I hope that I earn my paycheck, every week, and I think that's the way most of you live your life, as well. And so we don't want to create or make decisions and our pay plans based off of the lowest common denominator type of thing. But at the same time, we do have to factor in those kind of considerations, Jack. But that is a good thought and good suggestions, and I'll look into that. Riley just shared the link on here to go to the to listen to the podcast. I think we've got 3 episodes up right now, and there's other episodes that'll be up there. The podcasts are a little different than a normal Facebook Live or anything. It's a little more personal. I mean, you'll get to know John. There's some information. I've known John for 7 years, and we've gone to dinner and lunch, and there's some things in there in the podcast that I was never aware of. So it's that's something that you guys hopefully be fun for you. We want to invite you drivers to participate in the podcast so we can get to know you guys a little bit better as well. So, Melissa, is freight expected to slow down during holidays this year? So I will tell you this. I mean, the general answer is yes. There's typically slowing down. Now, some years there's not. I mean, it's and then some years the industry slows down, but we do not. So the DoD freight typically will drop off, towards September, into September, as the budgets, are being reset, and everything. But freight in general will generally slow down, end of November, 1st of December, once the retail, travels up. But there's been years past that our, commercial has and others have boomed, and so we expect things to stay steady to strong, through this. But at the end of it, it's a little bit of a crapshoot, there. But we're not super concerned about freight volume, going into the holidays, at this time. But again, as we talked about the port backups and inflationaries and those kind of things, they're hard to predict, and so so we just make the best guesses that we can, there. Jack McFadden, if we had time off for workman's comp, can we get a weekly credit towards our yearly miles? So, Jack, again, we're running a business, right? And it's, the weeks that you're off, there's no revenue, created, there. And so workman's comp is not by the way, a tri-state program. Workman's comp is I think it's a state program. I think it's managed by the states, but it's not a tri-state, program. Jack, and I hope I say this, in the right way, in a sensitive way. Listen, we need to pay, everybody fairly, well, and generously. But at the same time, I think you can appreciate we're not a charity, right? I mean, it's, it's we've had office personnel, that get sick for long extended periods of time, FMLA, that kind of stuff, and it's just fiscally impossible, if not impossible, it's very difficult, to pay everybody, for their times off, type of thing, so that's not the greatest situation for people individually, type of thing, but that's the challenge we're looking at. Martha, we run our butts off. I hope that's a good thing. I know, speaking of that though, our average miles have increased. This year, our average miles compared to, a typical dry van fleet is always lower. But utilization has been a big focus and a big, challenge, of ours. And so, all of you are seeing increased miles. And again, there is a compensation, to the miles on top of, the guarantee pay for company drivers, and then owner operators, that equates to, more revenue, of course, there. But at the same time, I also understand it creates a fatigue and it creates an exhaustion, that we have to balance. I would tell you, and we all get very focused and locked into our own worlds, our own sphere, our own jobs. We have drivers that are tired. I mean, they are running a lot of miles, and we have more freight than our, our customers are asking us to do more and more and more. And it's, the trucking, industry as a whole, has a lot, going in, but that stress is, I don't want to compare someone else's stress to your stress. I mean, I think the driver's stress is unique, and I think it's, fundamentally, a challenge, that, most people don't want to do, frankly, and you're willing to do it. But, our planning group is under a lot of stress. The driver managers are under a lot of stress, safety, HR, and so it's, when freight is not very good, then there's a lot of stress, on how to get more freight and how to make sure, everyone, can get paid. But when freight is super busy like it is now, there's also a lot of stress. But I think most of you'd agree we prefer to have this kind of stress. We're worried about having to cover everything, versus, trying to find, freight to make payroll, that kind of stuff. So anyway, Joy, again, I get it, it's, and we're looking at ways to get each more money, but, $100, $200, for you, multiplied by 700 drivers, is a considerable amount of money. It's, we also have to make sure that, I see a lot of driver, pay programs out there, and there are companies that are already struggling to stay afloat because of some short-sighted decisions that they've made, financially. It's, and Joy, you do earn every dollar that you get. I want to get you more dollars. But, on the long term too, we're able to get great revenues and great, freight increases, from our customers, but they've got a breaking point too. And our customers are going to reach a point and say, hey, I'm not willing to pay anymore. There. And so it is a balance through all of this. The customer relationships are important as well, so those are all the, things that kind of go in behind the scenes. So, it's, Joy, we don't have 700 solo drivers, but we've got, pushing 700 drivers, and everybody wants more money. Solo drivers aren't the only ones that want more money. It's, it's, Daniel, we just want to work. I don't like to sit longer than my 34 if we don't have to. And again, it's, that's our goal too. But we have, a lot of drivers that we deal with that, unfortunately, they don't even want to work, the hours they've got allotted. It's, I just had some long, difficult conversations with drivers that, don't want to run on recaps, type of thing, so, anyway, it's, again, Joy, you're not accurate. Solos did get a raise. Okay. It's, and I understand, if you feel like it wasn't as much as you'd like, type of thing, but those are things that we continue to look at, as well. And I mean, it's, there are avenues to make more money, and everybody that came in understands, that we're a team, focused, company. That's where the most money is. We have a solo fleet, that gets paid much more than the solo average, out there, but they don't get paid as much as our team drivers, so it's, if you want to maximize, revenues, here, then, then the team, is where you're going to maximize that, so Joy, I'm sorry, if you don't feel like, it was enough or completely adequate, but again, solos is a newer fleet, that we are, trying to figure out those economics, and so forth, so anyway, any other questions, comments, or anything like that, please feel free to email me, okay? And I'm happy to address in an email. Some of it I might save, to address here. Like I said, I mean, it's, send the uncomfortable stuff. I mean, it's, I can just speak for myself, I won't dodge it. I mean, it's, I think as adults we can agree we may not always like the answer, and there are times we're going to agree that neither one of us likes the answer. It's but it's the best that I can offer or whatever, at the time. So anyway, again, we appreciate you. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.